After being mocked at a tech summit, Black CEO exposed the hidden 7.8B merger's amazing truth. Lisa Talbot stood side stage, heart pounding like a drum in her chest. This wasn't just another tech summit, it was her chance to change the world. A chance that felt almost tangible as she glanced at the sea of faces, tech giants and influencers, all eager to hear her groundbreaking initiative. She cleared her throat, ready to unveil a program that aimed to empower small businesses, a cause close to her heart. But right before she stepped into the spotlight, a wave of mocking laughter erupted from the back of the room. The laughter clawed at her like nails on a chalkboard. It brought forth memories of her humble Midwest upbringing, where her family instilled the value of hard work against all odds. She took a deep breath, preparing herself. Gripped by doubt, her voice wavered as she presented her vision, but it wasn't the idea of small business empowerment that resonated, it was her presence, one black woman standing before a room full of establishment. "You really think this is going to change anything?" one executive sneered. Laughter ignited, louder this time, and her face flushed. It felt like a knife piercing through her courage, triggering insecurities she'd thought she had buried deep. It was one thing to fight for equality, it was another to be dismissed by the very power players she sought to inspire. Her family's sacrifices flashed through her mind, fueling frustration and doubt, but in the silence that followed the ridicule, a flame ignited within her. This wasn't the end. Rocked by the humiliation, Lisa refused to let the laughter drown her dreams. Driven by determination, she dove headfirst into the corporate labyrinth to uncover secrets lurking behind closed doors. Days later, she stumbled upon a hidden $7.8 billion merger, one that threatened minority entrepreneurs like a dark storm on the horizon. Her findings were as shocking as they were disheartening. Loopholes crafted to exclude people just like her from crucial financial resources. Each new detail felt like a betrayal, exposing a system designed to perpetuate inequality. This wasn't just about her ambition, it was about families struggling for survival, struggling for a slice of the American dream. The weight of her discoveries felt heavier than any mockery she had endured. "What will you do now?" a text from her mother pinged in her pocket, igniting memories of late nights spent at the kitchen table, their discussions vibrating with hope. It was then Lisa realized her community, the people she grew up with, supported her. They were the backbone she needed. Not just hers, but a collective effort fueled by shared sacrifices. They believed in her fight. As the sun set and the next summit loomed closer, Lisa practiced every word of her new speech with renewed vigor. She envisioned herself standing tall, finally addressing that crowd of critics with a fire in her belly. She imagined their eyes darting in anticipation, a world hanging on to her every word. Yet doubt still clawed at her heart. Would they listen? Would she finally be the voice of change or simply face further disdain? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day of the summit arrived, every nerve in her body electrified. She whispered affirmations. This was her moment. The crowd buzzed, eager for a glimpse into her next move. Just as she advanced to the microphone, a notification popped up on her phone, a game-changing message. This was it. She could feel the world around her pause, the air thick with anticipation. Would she stand for what was right? Would she echo the dreams of her ancestors? The choice weighed heavy in her heart as she gazed into the audience, ready to make a decision that could alter her life and countless others. Lisa inhaled deeply, letting the sharp scent of the polished stage fill her lungs as her fingers trembled on the microphone. The room was heavy with expectation, the weight palpable. She glanced across the sea of faces, some eager, others skeptical. Yet among the critics, she spotted familiar ones, friends from her community, faces imbued with hope. They had come to support her, and in that moment, she drew strength from their presence. "Good afternoon," she began, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside. "Today, I'm here to share a vision that can breathe life into the hopes of countless entrepreneurs who are often dismissed." She searched their eyes, looking for understanding and connection. "I've discovered forces at play that threaten the very fabric of our small business landscape." As she unleashed the details of the merger, she conjured the image of each small business owner she'd spoken to, the baker who poured their heart into every loaf, the stylist whose creativity transformed lives, and the tech enthusiasts dreaming of launching the next big innovation. "Can you imagine?" She pressed on, her passion igniting. "Families torn apart by overpriced agreements and contracts that favor the already affluent?" The murmurs began to rise, a shifting current as the crowd absorbed her words. She noticed a few nodding in agreement, while the skeptics began to fidget nervously. With every statistic she recounted the exclusions, the loopholes, the energy in the room shifted. Excitement sparked, awakening minds that had previously dismissed her as an outlier. Smartphones came out, recording her speech, capturing the moment. Lisa felt lighter with each word, her spirit soaring. The laughter that had once drowned her dreams faded into memory with each example of injustice she presented. As she neared the climax of her speech, a sudden chill swept through the room. An executive stood abruptly, interrupting. "This is just another attempt to grab headlines," he barked, leaning heavily into his dissent. "You can't possibly believe you can dismantle decades of business tradition overnight." The room held its breath. Lisa's heart raced, but a quiet resolve steadied her. "Actually," she countered, voice steady, "I am asking for the chance to disrupt that very tradition." Her conviction struck like a thunderclap. "It's about time we stop preserving a system that thrives on exclusion and start crafting one that represents all voices." The schism in the audience widened as her words hung in the air like a challenge. Some applauded, others scowled, but she could feel the tides turning. Something deeper was at play, hope rising against a systematic tide that had long deemed her a mere footnote. When she finished, the applause was mixed but palpable. Yet, she could also see outright hostility among some of the executives and influencers. She had stormed the gates of a fortress they believed was theirs alone, and now, she could feel the weight of repercussions looming. With adrenaline still coursing through her veins, Lisa stepped back from the podium, her mind racing. Had she just ignited a movement or painted a target on her own back? As she exited the stage, a familiar figure approached her. It was Sam, a mentor she respected deeply. "You were brilliant, Lisa," he said, excitement glimmering in his eyes. But then he hesitated. "But you need to be careful. They won't go down without a fight." A rush of uncertainty flooded her. What was her next step? Could she truly pave the way for change? Clenching her fists, she squared her shoulders, ready to face whatever came next. Sam's warning echoed in her mind as she stepped into the hallway, uncertainty and determination battling inside her. The real fight was just beginning, and Lisa realized she needed allies. Who could she trust in this complex web of power? As she moved through the crowd of conference-goers, a voice behind her called out. "Lisa! Wait!" It was a young entrepreneur, a face she recognized. Hope and fear swirled within her. Was this connection the ally she desperately needed, or the beginning of a deeper complication? And so, with her heart racing, she turned to face what came next. Lisa turned, her breath catching as she recognized Mia, an up-and-coming app developer from her networking group. The excitement in Mia's eyes was undeniable, but there was something else, a glimmer of fear beneath the enthusiasm. "Lisa! I can't believe what you just set up there," Mia exclaimed, rushing forward. "You were amazing. I've been feeling the same way about what's happening in the tech community, but I didn't know how to voice it. You made it real." The warmth of Mia's words wrapped around Lisa, igniting a small flame of hope within her chest. Here was someone who understood the struggle, someone who had lived through the trials of building a startup in an environment that often felt hostile to new ideas. "Thank you, Mia," Lisa replied, her voice steadier now. "But it's not over. I need to know there are others who feel the same. I can't do this alone." Mia nodded, determination lighting her features. "I've got your back. I know a few others who would stand with us. We can't let them silence our voices anymore. Think about what we could accomplish if we unite." That surge of inspiration was just what Lisa needed. Together, they could build a movement, a coalition of entrepreneurs ready to disrupt the status quo. As they spoke, she felt the weight of her earlier fears begin to lift. "Let us gather," Lisa suggested, her heart racing at the thought of action. "Let us host a meeting, bring everyone together. This isn't just my fight. It's ours." Mia clutched her arm, her eyes bright with excitement. "I can set it up. We'll make sure it's publicized. People need to hear us, to see the faces behind these struggles." But just as Lisa felt the adrenaline pumping through her veins, a sense of foreboding crept back. The executive's words echoed in her mind. They wouldn't just stand by and let their grip loosen. Was she opening the door to retaliation? What if they targeted those who joined her? Before she could voice her concerns, a shadow loomed behind them. It was Roy Lancaster, one of the executives she had challenged earlier. His face was devoid of its usual arrogance, replaced with an unsettling calm. The laughter had evaporated into a tense silence. "Lisa," he said slowly, "you should think very carefully about the company you keep. The tech world is not as welcoming as you might imagine. Unity can easily lead to heightened scrutiny. You could be endangering not only your business but also those who choose to ally with you." The challenge in his gaze sent a fresh wave of adrenaline through Lisa. Was he really threatening her? The audacity of this man, just after she had laid bare the injustices of their world, was astounding. But deep down, she felt emboldened. "I'm standing up for what's right, Roy. If that means scrutiny, then so be it. Change doesn't come from silence." The words felt powerful, but with them came the realization of the risk she was taking, not just for herself, but for everyone who dared to follow her. Mia squeezed her hand again, a silent promise of support. "We'll stick together," she whispered, her voice steady. "We're stronger than they think." As Roy contemplated her, a slow smile began to spread across his face, though it didn't reach his eyes. "Just remember, Lisa, every action has consequences. You may want to tread lightly." With that, he pivoted, leaving Lisa and Mia in a whirl of swirling doubt and determination. For every step forward, it felt as if shadowy threats loomed at her back. Lisa took a deep breath, focusing on the warmth of her friend's encouragement. Change was never easy, but she couldn't turn back now. Too much was at stake in that moment. She realized her next move wouldn't just involve rallying support, it would mean preparing for a fight. And so, gathering her courage, she turned back to Mia, her resolve solidifying. "Let us do this," Lisa said, her voice firm. "We'll make them listen." But just as they began plotting the next steps, an unexpected message pinged on Lisa's phone, pulling her attention. Who could it be? Why did it feel like the ground was shifting beneath her feet again, and with a mix of excitement and dread, she reached for the screen. Lisa's heart raced as she swiped her phone to unlock it. The message was from an unknown number. Normally, she wouldn't entertain such texts, but adrenaline pushed her to read it. Her fingers trembled slightly, amplifying her anticipation. "Meet me at the cafe near the office. I have something you need to see." Jay, who was Jay? She didn't recall anyone by that name in her network. Nor could she ignore the urgency behind those words. Whatever Jay needed to share could be crucial. But dread layered her excitement. Was this an invitation to help or a trap laid by the very executives she was challenging? "Who is it?" Mia asked, peering over Lisa's shoulder. Just a message, Lisa replied, trying to downplay the urgency pounding in her chest. It's someone I don't know. Should we go? Maybe it's someone else who is fired up about the cause, Mia suggested, her optimism contagious. Lisa hesitated but looked into Mia's encouraging eyes. She needed support more than ever, and if they planned to build a movement, they had to be open to possibilities, even the mysterious ones. Let's check it out, Lisa decided. It's only a cafe. We can be quick. Moments later, the brisk autumn air greeted them as they stepped outside. Lisa felt a swell of determination as they walked, heat pooling under her skin. It wasn't just her fight anymore. This was thrilling yet terrifying, an exhilarating plunge into uncharted waters. When they reached the cafe, the smell of freshly brewed coffee and the chatter of patrons contrasted sharply with the tension swirling in her gut. Lisa scanned the room, searching for anyone who might match Jay's vibe. A man sat in the corner, casually looking over his laptop as if he were waiting for someone. Do you think he is Jay? Mia whispered, nodding in that direction. I guess we'll find out, Lisa replied, steeling herself. As they approached the man, he looked up, revealing a pair of piercing blue eyes that seemed oddly familiar. You must be Lisa, he said, his smile warm yet guarded. I'm Jordan. Jay, Lisa confirmed. So, what is this about? Jordan nodded toward the empty seat across from him. Let us sit. I have a feeling you're going to want to hear this. They settled into their chairs, the hum of conversation around them creating a cocoon of privacy. Jordan leaned in closer, lowering his voice. I've seen what you're trying to do, and I admire your courage. But I also know the risks. The executives are watching closely. Lisa met his gaze. You know this for a fact? More than that. I was once part of their inner circle before I realized just how deep the corruption runs, he said, his voice dropping further. They're planning something big. A merger worth more than $7.8 billion that could forever change the landscape of the tech community. What do you mean? Lisa's pulse quickened. Was this the opportunity to expose them? I can't go into details yet, but if you're serious about uniting people, you need to know the truth. They can't silence everyone if we have the right information. Mia leaned forward, captivated. So you're saying this merger could be linked to their oppression of startups? Like a power play? Exactly, Jordan confirmed. If you're willing to take this on, I can help you gather evidence. But it won't be easy. They're ruthless. They'll do anything to maintain their control, and you'll need to be prepared for what that entails. Lisa felt a thrilling rush. This was it. This could be the linchpin to rally everyone around her cause. But as exhilaration coursed through her, a thought interrupted. There was no turning back. What if they uncovered her plans? What do you think? She asked Mia, who wore a blend of excitement and apprehension. Are we ready for this? Before Mia could respond, Jordan's expression shifted. We need to move quickly. I can't stay too long. There's a lot at stake. If they see me coming to you, it could be bad. This was the moment, and a part of Lisa craved the surge of adrenaline. But fear festered at the edges. Was she ready for a fight so fierce? Could she protect those who dared to join her if they went down this path? She took a deep breath, heart racing, and asked, "What's our first step?" Jordan leaned back, the flicker of a determined smile playing on his lips. The first step is to get the proof. Then we'll share it with the world. But it starts now. But as he reached for his laptop, a sudden commotion outside the cafe caught their attention. Shouts, broken glass. Lisa's heart sank. Had they been discovered already? Stay close, Jordan urged, urgency flooding his voice. This just got a lot worse. And just as Lisa's mind began racing with possibilities, she realized the extent of what they were about to uncover and how perilous the path forward would truly be. The air in the cafe crackled with tension as Lisa turned to Jordan, her instinct screaming. "What's happening?" she demanded, her voice barely above a whisper. The chaos outside began to seep in, inching closer to their little bubble of conspiracy. Jordan didn't answer immediately. His gaze was fixed on the window, his body taut with anticipation. Lisa followed his stare and caught glimpses of a crowd gathered, their faces twisted in anger. Murmurs of protests collided with the sound of sirens in the distance. "We've got to get out of here," he finally said, urgency etched into his features. "They might be looking for me." "Who's they?" Mia shot back, her voice rising in panic. "What's really going on?" Jordan's deep breath betrayed his growing frustration. "The executives, they're monitoring everything. When I left their circle, I didn't just disappear. They'll hunt anyone I get close to." "You too?" Lisa's heart sank. The fight she was ready to take on suddenly felt like it was dragging her friends down a dark path. She looked at Mia, who was holding her breath, her eyes wide with fear. It wasn't just her life at stake, they were all tangled in this mess. "Let's just get the evidence. Then we can expose them, right?" Lisa said, holding on to the flicker of hope that ignited within her. "We'll be okay. We'll make it work." Jordan nodded slowly, but the doubt clouded his blue eyes. "It's not that simple. This isn't just about you. It could break you or worse. If we're not careful." Suddenly, the cafe door swung open with a violent bang. A tall figure burst in, the chaotic energy swirling around him like a storm. Lisa's heart skipped a beat as she recognized him. It was Tom, a senior vice president at her company. He looked furious, scanning the cafe until his eyes locked onto Lisa and Jordan. "There you are!" he shouted, marching toward them. His eyes were filled with a mix of anger and something more sinister. "We need to talk." Lisa's breath hitched. For a moment, she froze. What was he doing here? She wasn't ready for this confrontation. But Jordan moved quickly, standing and blocking her from Tom's sight. "This is none of your business, Tom." Jordan's voice was steady but low, filled with a tension that made Lisa's skin prickle. Tom smirked, crossing his arms. "Oh, but it is. You're getting in way over your head, nerd." He gestured dismissively. "Do you really think you can take on the big players? You have no idea what you're tracking down, do you?" Lisa felt a surge of anger mixed with panic. "What do you know about the merger?" she challenged, stepping forward despite Jordan's warning gaze. "Tell me the truth, Tom." He laughed, a cold, mocking sound that echoed throughout the cafe. "You're a naive little startup dreamer thinking you can unravel a billion-dollar deal. You're playing with fire, and trust me, you won't come out unscathed." Every word struck with the weight of truth mixed with a chilling sense of danger. Lisa's pulse raced, a mix of fear and determination flooding through her. "I won't back down. Not now." "That's what they all say," Tom shot back, his patronizing grin widening. "Just remember, when it all comes crashing down, I won't be the one picking up the pieces." As he turned to leave, Lisa's mind flooded with possibilities. What if she could change the game? What if the weight of their fight was truly about to be thrust into the spotlight? Just as Tom stepped outside, the roar of the crowd surged, a wave of voices rising in dissent. It was as if the universe was fueling her fire. "Lisa," Jordan's voice cut through her thoughts. "We have to move now. This isn't just an opportunity, it's a risk." She took a deep breath, eyes narrowing. Stepping toward the door, she heard the murmurs of the crowd swell, the fear transforming into fuel for her resolve. "Then let's take that risk," she said, her voice powerful as ever. "We can't let them silence us." But as they stepped outside, the scene unfolded in chaos. People shouted for change, and dark clouds loomed overhead. Was this the moment they had been waiting for, or the storm before the inevitable fall? Just then, her phone buzzed violently in her pocket, and as she pulled it out, one message glimmered ominously on the screen. "You should have stayed away." Lisa's heart raced. What had she stepped into, and how far would she go to uncover the truth? The crowd outside erupted in a cacophony of voices. Lisa could feel the energy pulsing around her, a chaotic force pulling everyone into its current. She squeezed her phone tight in her hand, the message from Tom echoing in her mind. "You should have stayed away." She could either retreat into the safety of anonymity or dive headfirst into the storm, uncertain what awaited her. "Lisa!" Jordan shouted, urgency lacing every syllable. "We can't just stand here." Lisa looked at him, his worry etched across his face. She felt the tension, not just between them but in the very air. They weren't just fighting for their lives anymore, they were fighting for a cause, one that could shake the foundations of their world. "I know," it was a whisper barely audible over the clamor. She steeled herself. "Let us go." Together, they moved toward the heart of the chaos. The crowd surged like a wild tide, people's faces lit up with riotous determination. Some held posters, bright colors splashed with slogans like "Justice Now" and "No More Lies." The air felt electric, a pulsating lifeblood of shared dissent. Mia dashed close beside them, scanning the scene with wide, fearful eyes. "What's our plan?" she asked, her voice trembling. "We can't just. We're not backing down." Lisa swallowed hard. "We need to find the evidence. If they're hiding something so big, people need to know." As they inched closer to the stage where organizers shouted into megaphones, Lisa's determination deepened. She could feel the weight of their cause wrapping around her like a cloak. This wasn't just about a merger anymore, it was about exposing a truth that could change everything. Her mind swirled with possibilities, each more dangerous than the last. In that moment of clarity, she glimpsed a figure standing near the edge of the stage, an imposing silhouette against the flashing lights. The man seemed to command attention effortlessly. Lisa squinted, and her heart raced as she recognized him. It was Marcus, the whistleblower whose story she had read about in the papers, the man who dared to expose the corrupting power of the executives running their corporation. "Look!" she exclaimed, grabbing Jordan's arm to draw his attention. "Marcus! We have to talk to him." Without waiting for a response, she pushed through the crowd, her determination overriding her hesitation. Jordan and Mia followed closely, their anxiety palpable as they fought to keep pace. As they reached the front, the din of the crowd faded slightly, morphing into a surreal backdrop of urgency and hope. Lisa raised her voice, calling out to Marcus. "Marcus!" He turned, surprised but intrigued. "Do I know you?" he asked, peering past the mass of moving bodies. "I'm with the startup trying to expose the merger," she explained hurriedly, her heart pounding. "I think we're onto something big. The executives are watching us. But we need proof." His eyes flashed with recognition. "You're risking everything then. They won't hesitate to cut you out, maybe even worse." His tone was grave, but there was a flicker of admiration in his gaze. "We can't back down," Lisa replied fiercely. "People deserve to know the truth." Just as she spoke, the crowd roared again, the sound triumphantly shaking the ground. The momentum felt unstoppable, yet the weight of uncertainty loomed. Was she truly ready for the battles ahead? Before Marcus could respond, the lights dimmed, and a spotlight shone on the stage, illuminating a figure that sent chills racing down Lisa's spine. It was Tom, gripping a microphone, an unsettling gleam in his eye as he scanned the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, a sinister smile unfurling. "What you're about to learn will change everything." Lisa's heart dropped. What dangerous revelation did he hold? Would they soon be exposed? As Tom's voice droned on, Lisa felt a surge of energy coursing through her veins. They were standing on a precipice, just a breath away from chaos and the truth. And she was ready to jump. What would happen when the truth erupted in the chaos of the moment? Would it be their salvation or their doom? The spotlight bore down on Tom, illuminating him like a malevolent star in a darkened sky. His voice, smooth and confident, cut through the noise. "We've invested heavily in this merger," he boomed, "and it's time everyone understood our vision." Lisa felt her pulse quicken. Each word dripped with a bravado that masked something deeper: arrogance, perhaps, or desperation. She exchanged a worried glance with Jordan, whose brow furrowed, and Mia, who looked utterly lost in the tumult of the crowd. "What is he planning?" Jordan muttered, his voice tight. "Whatever it is, we need to stop it," Lisa replied, her resolve hardening. They had come this far. She wasn't about to turn back now. From her vantage point near the stage, she could see faces flip from confusion to concern as Tom elaborated on the merger. "This will create jobs," he declared, his tone almost mocking, as if charming the audience into a blissful oblivion. "Jobs?" a voice shouted from the crowd, disbelief ringing through the air. "At what cost?" Tom shot back, "Cost? We're talking about progress here. This is bigger than all of you." He waved his arms dramatically, trying to drown out the dissent. Lisa could feel an electric tension building around them, a critical mass waiting to explode. In the flickering light, she caught a glimpse of Marcus staring intently, a silent plea for action cascading from his gaze. "Now's our chance," she whispered urgently. "We need to stand up." Just as she stepped forward, Mia's hand gripped her arm. "What if they turn on us?" Fear cut through Mia's voice, echoing the doubts that swirled in Lisa's mind. "Then we fight. We have to." Lisa's heart thundered, knowing the fight was more than just a chance for victory. It was about facing uncertainty head-on. Together, with a deep breath, Lisa lifted her own voice, steady and unyielding. "Tom, what about the people you threaten with this merger? What about the families impacted by your greed?" The crowd simmered, shifting restlessly, eyes darting between Lisa and Tom. "What do you know about the real effects of this deal?" Tom shot back, his facade cracking just a bit. He was losing control. She could see it. "I know that people are scared," Lisa said. "I know they're being silenced. And I know you've kept secrets that need to come to light." Her words echoed, the evidence burning in her mind like words on the tip of her tongue. That he smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You think you're some kind of hero, don't you?" His voice dripped with sarcasm, aiming to belittle her. "But you're just a child playing with fire." The crowd began to murmur in discontent, emboldened by her courage. With a swift motion, Lisa pulled out her phone, ready to record, the same phone that carried Tom's menacing message. "I want everyone to hear the truth," she shouted, determination flooding her voice. But then, as if the universe had twisted its rules, something exploded in the air, a flash of lights, followed by a sharp crack. Gasps erupted. Lisa's heart raced wildly. The crowd surged back in panic, and she felt the energy shift from defiance to fear in an instant. "What was that?" Jordan yelled, eyes wide and frantic, as people began to scatter. "Stay together," Lisa shouted, but the sea of bodies surged around them, pulling them apart. She reached for Jordan, but he was swept away. Panic clawed at her throat. In front of her, Marcus was shouting orders, trying to restore some semblance of order. The chaos swirled around them like a storm, and though Lisa fought to stay grounded, she felt herself teetering on the edge of confusion. The unexpected twist had ignited something primal within her, a deep-rooted urge to protect, to resist, and in that moment, she realized that this wasn't just about the merger anymore. It was a fight for every voice muted, every truth hidden. As the crowd erupted in chaos, Lisa scanned the fray, desperate for her friends. Would she be able to face the truth that was about to be revealed? A cry broke through the uproar, echoing the urgency in the air. "We need to know what's really happening. What truth could Emerge from such turmoil? What lay ahead in the chaos of revelation? The chaos rippled like a wave, body after body pushing and pulling through the thick tension in the air. Lisa felt the pulse of it, the fear, the anger, the confusion, and it fueled her resolve. She had to make sure the truth didn't get lost in this storm. With her phone still clutched tightly in her hand, she fought her way toward the edge of the stage, hoping to re-establish her footing. The crowd crashed forward, shouting, gasping, voices overlapping in a cacophony that buzzed painfully in her ears. She had to shout, to scream if necessary, to break through to the others. Someone had to make sense of this. Everyone. Please, listen. She called, her voice rising above the noise, but it was mostly drowned out by the panic. A figure stumbled nearby, and Lisa recognized Mia, her wide eyes filled with fear. Lisa. What do we do? The tremor in her voice cut through Lisa. Stay close. Lisa shouted, reaching for her hand. In that moment, Lisa felt like an anchor, pulling them away from the deluge of chaos that threatened to consume them. Marcus appeared at their side, his face set in grim determination. We need to get out of here, he said, scanning the crowd. If this is a distraction, then we need to expose it. Lisa interrupted, adrenaline surging. Everyone out there deserves the truth. We can't let Tom manipulate this moment. But as she spoke, she caught a glimpse of Tom amid the frightened masses. He was standing firmly on the stage, his confident facade regaining its composure even as the atmosphere around him cracked and splintered. The arrogance returned, his lips curling into a smug smile. His voice rang out again, louder now, attempting to regain control. This is exactly why we need this merger, he declared, his tone dripping with condescension. Look at the fear. Look at the chaos. We're here to bring stability. Stability? Lisa shot back, her heart racing. Stability at the expense of lives? This is just the beginning. Your plan relies on keeping people in the dark. It was like tossing a match into an oil slick. The murmurs in the crowd transformed into voices of dissent, anger boiling over, people rallying against Tom's twisted narrative in a way she hadn't anticipated. It was a gathering storm. But suddenly, sirens blared in the distance, a piercing shriek that cut through the chaos, drawing attention away from them momentarily. Lisa's throat tightened as she sensed the increased urgency in the situation. They needed to act quickly. Let us move, Marcus urged, gripping their wrists and tugging them forward, deeper into the swelling current of humanity. To the back. There's a loading dock. We might find a way to broadcast what's happening. Lisa's heart pounded in agreement. Right. We can't let them rewrite the narrative. As they pushed and shoved through the throngs of terrified faces, Lisa felt something shift inside her. She wasn't just a bystander anymore, she was a pivotal part of this story. What if they succeeded in exposing the truth? What if their voices could reach those beyond this chaotic scene, people who needed to fight against this impending disaster, families who could be hurt? Determination thrummed through her veins, and for the first time, she didn't feel afraid. She felt a fierce hope. But as the three of them drew closer to the exit, they were met with a wall of security personnel, their aggressive stances blocking any path forward. Eyes narrowed, they positioned themselves as if awaiting a command. Now what? Mia gasped, panic creeping back into her voice. Lisa glanced back toward the stage, where Tom stood, a puppet master reveling in his control. The fear of the unknown gripped her, choking back the instinct to flee. They had to find a way out, yes, but they also had to share what they knew. Stay sharp, Lisa breathed, heart racing. Let us create a distraction. Would they be able to slip past the guards, or would they be caught in the web of Tom's scheme? The stakes were higher than ever, and with every second ticking away, the truth they sought felt closer yet painfully out of reach. Marcus glanced over the guards, a plan forming in his mind. All right, here's what we do. Mia, you and Lisa create a scene. Something loud to draw their attention. I'll find a way to sneak past them while they're distracted. Are you insane? Mia's voice quivered, but Lisa squeezed her hand. We have to do this, Lisa said, her resolve hardening. We can't give up now. We have to show everyone the truth. The guards stood rigidly, scanning the restless crowd, appearing ready to pounce at the first hint of disorder. All it would take was one spark to ignite the flames of chaos once more. Okay, Mia said hesitantly, fear giving way to determination. What do we do? Lisa turned to the group, her heart pounding with possibility. Listen, when I shout, you both need to shout something crazy, make it sound real. Anything that might throw them into a frenzy. It'll give Marcus a chance. Okay. Let us do it. Mia nodded bravely. On three, Lisa said, glancing back at the guards one last time. Their focus was still set on the crowd, ready to sweep in on any sign of trouble. 1, 2, 3. Help. Fire. Lisa yelled, her voice carrying as panic splintered through the crowd. Not again. Mia joined in, crying out, someone's been hurt. Immediately, heads whipped around, the guards instinctively shifting forward to investigate. Lights from the stage flickered in a harsh flash, illuminating the surge of chaos that erupted. The distraction worked. Now, Marcus. Lisa shouted, pointing to the side. With deft agility, Marcus darted past the distracted guards, the corner of his mouth twitching in excitement. A rush of adrenaline surged through Lisa as she and Mia pressed themselves forward, urging their way past the guards while they focused on the unfolding chaos, lost in the heat of the moment. But just as they slipped through, Lisa felt a hand grab her shoulder, tightening like a vice. She whirled around, eyes wide, nearly colliding with one of the guards. Where do you think you're going? He hissed, glaring down at her. The fear re-engulfed her, but she couldn't back down now. We're just trying to help. Lisa exclaimed, her heartbeat racing. We saw a fight. Is that so? The guard's brow furrowed. Right. Fights can be dangerous. Mia exclaimed, thinking fast. Back to the stage. The guard shouted, glancing back to the fray. Just then, the sirens grew louder, the urgency palpable. With a single glance between each other, they knew they had an opening time was running out, and they had to make their move. I think they're all busy now. Lisa said. We need to go now. With a quick shove, she pushed through the throng near the exit, and Mia followed as they barreled down a corridor that smelled of damp concrete and desperation. Where are we? Mia gasped, her breath quickening. Loading dock. Lisa panted, spotting a faint light ahead, the promise of freedom and a chance to tell their story. As they skidded to a halt, the sight before them was a stark contrast to the chaos they had escaped. A wall of screens lined the loading dock area, each displaying footage of the event unfolding outside, the protests, the confusion, and, most importantly, Tom's smirking grin. Look! Marcus pointed at the screens. We can stream this live. Lisa's heart raced again, but this time with hope. We can show them what's really happening. Expose the truth. Are you ready? Mia looked determined, a fire igniting in her eyes. Let us do this. But as they turned to the equipment, another sharp, authoritative voice cut through the atmosphere. Stop right there. They spun around, and Lisa's heart dropped. More guards now flooded the entrance, blocking their only escape. Okay, let us not panic. But Lisa knew panic was already seeping into the edges of their resolve. They were running out of time. With every muscle in her body tense, she whispered to her friends. What's our next move? Would they find a way to share their truth, or would they fall victim to the very scheme they tried to fight? The stakes had never been higher. The loading dock felt smaller now, the looming walls pressing in on them, amplifying the chaos around. Lisa's heart raced, her mind racing with the weight of the moment. We can't just hide. We need to get this out, she urged, her voice raw with urgency. Mia bit her lip, scanning the array of equipment with wide eyes. But we're trapped. They'll find us. Not if we outsmart them. Lisa's resolve strengthened, her thoughts racing. If they could reach the equipment quickly, they might still have a chance. We can stream it live, but we need to act fast. With determination igniting in her chest, she motioned to Marcus. You keep them busy. Mia, help me over here. Lisa turned toward the screens, feeling the intensity in the air surge. They had to leverage the chaos outside, to somehow flip the narrative. Marcus stepped forward, drawing attention. You really want to intimidate us? He shouted, his voice echoing with conviction. You can't silence the truth. The guards hesitated, unsure of their next move, and Lisa seized the moment. Come on, Mia. She squeezed her friend's arm as they skittered toward the equipment. They flicked switches, the screens lighting up, revealing the chaos outside. Lisa's heart pounded in her chest, not just from fear, but from an electrifying sense of purpose. As she navigated through the equipment, she could hear Marcus softly taunting the guards, trying to hold their attention. His voice grounded her. They were in this together, bonded by a shared dream of exposing injustice. Okay, Mia whispered, her fingers flying over buttons. We can go live. Just do it. Make sure the feed's good. Lisa replied, watching as the monitors flickered with static, then burst into vibrant life, projecting images of the protests outside. The crowd's cries for change became a haunting backdrop, building the urgency around their fight. Lisa took a breath as the signal threshold stabilized. She adjusted the camera, focusing on her determined expression. It's time, she said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind around them. She turned the camera toward her, smiling fiercely. Hello, everyone. This is Lisa Talbot, and what you're about to see is the fight for our future. Outside, voices crescendoed, a symphony of resistance swelling as protesters rallied together. Lisa spoke passionately into the camera, urgency pouring from her heart. What's happening outside is the embodiment of our struggle against a merger that prioritizes profits over people. We've uncovered the truth about a $7.8 billion deal that threatens to drown out the voices of those who matter most: minority entrepreneurs and small business owners. The image flicked to chaotic footage of protesters who fought for their rights, passionately shouting against a system stacked against them. The momentum in the crowd evolved into something unstoppable, the energy contagious. Though adrenaline surged through Lisa, a sudden panic settled upon her as she caught sight of the guards moving in. They're coming. She hissed at Marcus. We have to finish this. He clenched his fists. No turning back now. We can't let them silence our message. He took a position beside them, ready to defend their cause. Hit record. Lisa urged Mia, whose fingers danced over the keys. This needs to be seen now more than ever. I'm on it. Mia's determination shone, her sparkle of hope cutting through doubt. Sharing the truth felt liberating, transcending fear and opposition. Lisa locked eyes with her friends. This was their moment, crackling with shared purpose. Courage swelled within her as she rallied their energy. Together, we can disrupt the narrative, she declared to the onlookers, her voice booming with conviction. No more hiding. This is our fight. I believe in this community, Lisa continued. We are the truth, and we will not be silenced. What happens next is up to all of us. But just then, the guards lunged. Lisa's blood ran cold. Time slid into a disorienting slow motion as one guard reached for the screen, attempting to yank the connection while others attempted to seize Marcus. Now! Mia shouted, slamming the button. The screen flickered, then burst into life, capturing everything. The desperation spun from them like arcing energy. They clung to hope, to the connection, to their voices reverberating through the internet like an awakened anthem of change. Checkmate, Lisa whispered, a wave of realization washing over her. They had carved out a path, even as the chaos closed in. The footage streamed live. Lisa's face, fierce with determination, cut through the noise. Unsilenced, unfazed by the clamor around them, they had unleashed their truth, and it was only moments before the collective energy soared. The crowd outside chanted louder, echoing their messages of solidarity. Lisa and Mia stood unfaltering, taking in the movement they were igniting. "So, what's it going to be, executives?" Lisa shouted defiantly at the screen, directed at all those who sought to silence them. "Will you listen to the voices that matter? Or will you keep shoving us back?" With that, the guards descended, but it didn't matter. The truth throbbed with life now, spreading like wildfire. In that single, beautiful moment, Lisa felt her purpose crystal clear, standing shoulder to shoulder with allies past and present, bound by grit and the undeniable need for justice. What began as their setback had transformed into a rallying cry for so many, their voices resonating through the protests, each call echoing back to them the power of unity. This was their fight, and no matter the cost, they'd face it together. As the storm raged high above, and chaos swirled around, Lisa teetered on the edge of fear and audacity. She understood now this was the moment of transformation, a bridge toward a brighter future, and they stood ready to charge ahead. Would they emerge victorious, or would the waves threaten to swallow them whole? But in that instant, under the glaring lights and amid the surge of adrenaline, she also knew that with courage coursing through her veins and the hearts of friends beside her, they could weather any storm. This was just the beginning. The true fight for change awaited them, and they were right where they needed to be. You need to subscribe now to join our journey and not miss out on the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, comment below with your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the word. Only true fans understand the importance of standing together.